Hello everyone, I'm Lyndall Stout. We join you today from the 92nd Oklahoma 4-H Roundup.
Also from the Northeast, Megan Wallace.
Roundup is part rock concert, part pep assembly,
Your State 4-H Council.
and full-on 4-H enthusiasm.
This really did start out as a 4-H structure, and it might...
OSU's top cowboy, University President Burns Hargis, helped kick off the festivities in historic Gallagher-Iba Arena and praised the 4-H value system.
When we were looking at leadership programs to establish here at Oklahoma State, I said, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Let's just read the handbook from 4-H. That's as good a leadership training as I know of.
We always want to start Roundup with a little bit of fun, a little motivation, get them excited, have them pumped. A lot of them have traveled a long way, obviously, to get here.
This year's theme, a nautical approach, waves of change, oceans of opportunity.
We want to get young people pumped up, go home and get their friends involved in the 4-H program. There are so many opportunities for young people, and so many aren't aware of all the fun things that they can do, the trips they can go on, and they can be cool to be in 4-H.
Cool indeed. After the opening assembly, it's straight to the competitions, displays, scholarship awards, and above all, the chance to build self-esteem and make lifelong friends at the 92nd Oklahoma 4-H Roundup.
Yeah, this is my buddy. This is Preston. Me and him, we've known each other. We're in the same 4-H club, so we've known each other since we were, geez, how old, Preston?
8.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say 8.
No, I was 8 whenever I met you, so, okay.
Spencer Eastman is a first-timer at 4-H Roundup.
It's just kind of comforting knowing that you're not alone here, that someone else is experiencing it with you. You get the same experience, you get memories.
And another way around.
Yeah.
We tagged along with Spencer and his fellow first-timers as the 4-H leadership team, including State President Matthew Tuning, showed them around campus.
That's where you guys' district rally is going to be. Do you want to remember where that's at?
Well, I want to make it up to where I'm holding a district office or a state office, and having them as an example, it's really helping.
These are 3 very full days for Spencer, Preston, and more than 800 other 4-H'ers.
I'm kind of nervous about the Clover Quiz Bowl. Me and my sister are entering that.
At the leadership conference?
It's an amazing experience so far. Any opportunity you get to come to something like this, take it.
I'm Al Sutherland with your Mesonet weather report. Rains have been a big part of our weather this week. Our first map shows rainfall amounts from a storm that brought rain to northeast Oklahoma late Saturday night and Sunday. Foraker in Osage County recorded 5 6/64 inches of rain. Then late Tuesday and Wednesday, another storm rolled across the state, bringing lots of rain to far eastern areas of Oklahoma. The brown-colored areas received 3 or more inches. In the green-colored areas of the state, folks had 1 to 2 inches of rain. Along with the rain Tuesday night, our new Tulsa Mesonet site recorded a blasting wind gust of 71 miles per hour at 11:40 p.m. 5 minutes earlier, the highest wind gust was only 12 miles per hour. Tuesday had rain, wind, and lots of heat too. The maximum apparent temperature, it measures human heat or cold stress, was over 100 for most Mesonet sites, with Claremore, Okmulgee, and Webbers Falls coming in at 112. Here's Gary with more on Oklahoma's July rains.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you've had an awesome week. Normally I would start out with a look at the latest U.S. Drought Monitor map, but we've had so much rainfall, I think we'll wait until next week on that one when we get more of this rainfall accounted for in the map. So we'll take a look at that next week. What a gift this July has been with all the rain and the cool weather. As you can see from this Mesonet rainfall map for July 1st, again through the 24th, some areas have had nearly 8 inches of rainfall, and maybe more by the time this airs. And you can see we had the statewide average about 3 inches, so almost an inch above normal for that time period, the 1st through the 24th. And much of the state was above 150% of normal rainfall for this period. Really, the only area missing out was the Northwest in general. Now, in comparison, let's take a look back at the last 2 Julys. I'll only show the percent of normal maps to give you the ugly colors. Let's start with July 2011. Here you see a lot of red. July 2011 was the 4th driest on record, that's back to 1895, with an average of only 0.7 inches. So well below normal for the entire month of July, and really a nasty month with all that heat. It was actually the hottest month for any state in the climate record. So Oklahoma owns a pretty dubious record there. Now we go back to 2012, which was no picnic for most of the state either. It was the 15th driest on record with an average of about 1.1 inches. So 2 extremely bad Julys in a row, and then we get this great gift of a July with lots of rainfall, lots of drought relief. So sometimes, Mother Nature doesn't go by the script. July is supposed to be hot and dry, and we've seen that over the last few years. This year was just a great gift, and we just have to be so grateful that we've gotten this drought relief in the areas of the state that have received rainfall. And let's hope the other areas of the state that still need it can get some in August. That's it for this time. We'll see you next time on the Mesonet Weather Report.
Roundup isn't the only time 4-H'ers have been in Stillwater this summer. Some of them have been here already, trying to solve a mystery. Every summer, camps take place all across Oklahoma, but odds are you haven't heard of one quite like this.
They crushed it. There you go. So they had to squeeze it, right? Okay.
Here at State 4-H Forensics Camp, often known as CSI in the field, students use science to collect evidence and solve mock crimes.
What they're going to do in the lab today is to look for fingerprints of both humans, the human fingerprints that we all know about, but also DNA fingerprints. And they're going to be able to retrieve DNA of the perpetrators, mock perpetrators, from the evidence that they've collected.
And then we go to court, and they have a trial. They have a mock trial and decide who's guilty and who's not.
Young people from 6 counties across the state took part in this year's camp.
We want to interest kids in science and technology. Particularly, we'd like for them to be interested in agricultural sciences and technology, but we're just showing them another facet of what is available for them for careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. This is a pretty small camp because it's pretty intense in all that we do. So we have 6 counties that are represented. Each county has brought 3 kids and a teacher or a county extension educator. The ultimate goal of this is that when they go back home, the teacher will be able to present this curriculum, probably not as in-depth as what we're doing here, but they'll be able to teach it in a classroom or for other 4-H clubs. And the kids are also in part of the leadership training, so when they go back home, they can be involved in doing a day camp or something similar that will fit in their home community.
4-H youth are able to apply their everyday knowledge with new techniques, rewarding for both student and instructor.
So it's really a fun thing to have the kids come in from all over Oklahoma. Many of them come from farm backgrounds, so they care about agriculture, and they know about how their food is produced, and they understand what a valuable resource it is for our country. And so to see them apply what is inside them in their hearts and collectively pull together that with what we teach them and what they're putting their own expertise and their reasoning to is very rewarding for us.
All the while, building up life skills these students will carry forward.
Well, I love science, and my teacher asked me to come, and I love anything about science. It's my favorite subject, and I hope to do something in the future with science when I get older.
Hopefully they'll see that this is a place that's not something far off and unattainable, but it's like, I could go to school there and I could study science. And if we get one kid out of this bunch that, wasn't normally going to come up here, that's a huge accomplishment.
Kim Anderson, our grain marketing specialist, joins us now. Kim, let's start today with the latest on wheat prices.
Oklahoma wheat prices are anywhere from $6.70 to $6.90. Unless you go out to the Panhandle where we didn't have much of a harvest, it's running around $7.07. I think that's because of the feed demand, the higher price out there. Of course, we've talked about the last couple of weeks of the 35-cent above average basis because of the feed demand. But you've also got protein premium captured into that, and we've had good export demand. So I think that's supporting our prices a little bit. You've got all wheat exports about 46% above average.
Then from mid-June to mid-July, what's the Oklahoma price been?
Well, if you look at the harvest, the price is averaged right at $7. A little less than that in some locations, a little higher than that in others.
Okay, and that $7 kind of gets the ball rolling for determining the June 2014 price. What other things are you looking at?
Well, the number one thing you got to look at is, of course, that beginning price is $7, then ending stocks. The USDA is projecting U.S. ending stocks next year to be 576 million bushels. Now, I think it's going to be higher than that when we get it, but there's a lot to go on yet. If you look at last year, it was 718 million. When I say last year, that's May 31 of 2013, and the 5-year average is 770 million bushels. World ending stocks projected to be 6.3 billion bushels this next year. It ended the last year at 6.4 billion and the average 7.0. So slightly below average stocks for wheat in the U.S. and the world. Got to take corn into consideration because that $7 average price is partially because of very tight corn stocks, 729 million bushels. For 13-14, it's projected to be just under 2 billion bushels, and the average is 1.3 billion bushels. So corn probably not having an impact on wheat prices next year.
Okay, with that in mind, your projection then for that June 2014 price?
Well, the market projection is right between $6.50 and $6.60. That's the July 14 price. Right now you can forward contract from anywhere from 40 under that to 50 under that. My projection for 2014 for wheat is right at $6.
Okay. And then some producers are considering canola instead of wheat when it comes to planting time. Any projections on the June 2014 canola price?
Well, I don't feel as comfortable with the canola projection, but you look at the differences in the futures contract, it's about $4.50 a hundredweight or $2.25 a bushel. So you look at their average prices last year, around $11.35. That gets you a $9.10 canola price per bushel or $18.20 canola price per hundredweight.
Okay, Kim Anderson, our grain marketing specialist. Thank you.
One of the most confusing parts of beef cow-calf management has to be mineral nutrition. Because you see, there are so many different minerals that interact with each other and other parts of nutrition. Plus then you also have the vitamins that are important to cattle health as well. When cattle producers are going through the last part of summer, into fall, then into winter, I think we need to understand what's going on in terms of the mineral content of the forage that the cattle are consuming. Just like protein, the mineral content will also change. That's why I think it's very, very important for those producers that have fall calving operations to really be mindful of the mineral nutrition of those cows as they go into the breeding season. Also, as we look ahead then to early spring, and we might put some cows out on something like wheat pasture or even lush early spring grass, there's another macro mineral that comes into play, and that's magnesium. We've talked about grass tetany before. That particular situation where we're deficient in magnesium is really an important problem for cows, especially older cows, as they give birth and then are in early lactation if they're out on wheat pasture. And that means that we have a different mineral combination that is most appropriate for cattle in that situation. Then of course we have the micro minerals, such things as copper, zinc, selenium, all of which can have subtle impacts on the performance of cattle In particular, they may affect immune function. I think I would like to caution you that as you look at some of these mineral combinations, remember it's very difficult for producers to mix the micro minerals properly, and therefore they probably want to have a premix or work with one of their feed suppliers that has the capability of mixing minerals properly before they try to add such things as copper, selenium. Otherwise, we can end up in a situation that results in some toxicity. Take time to go to the SUNUP website. That's sunup.okstate.edu and download an excellent extension circular, Vitamin and Mineral Nutrition of Grazing Cattle. It's E-861. This particular circular goes into great detail on many of the different minerals and the vitamins, and actually supplies some examples of mineral supplements that can be put together for beef cattle operations. Read this fact sheet very, very closely. I think it'll be helpful in terms of getting the right mineral mix to your cattle at the right time of year. Hey, we look forward to visiting with you again next week on SUNUP's Cow-Calf Corner.
Oklahoma 4-H has quite a reputation when it comes to its shooting sports program, something the teams really showcased at the national competition.
Kids did real well. You know, I'm proud of all the kids, all of them that earned the right to represent Oklahoma. But we had a special team this year. Our compound archery team won nationals, and as far as I know, that's our first team from Oklahoma to win a national shooting sports contest. So real proud of those kids. We shot skeet at that time, yes, and the kids that earned the right to go to nationals from Oklahoma placed 5th in the nation this year. So we're pretty happy with the results. Some of these kids are pretty good. You know, they're placing in the top 10 in the nation. Out of, you know, there's 500 kids that participated from across the U.S.
And now a closer look at just what it takes to get to nationals.
Today we're hosting our state skeet shoot. We have 135 kids from around the state here competing. We've been in shooting sports in Oklahoma since 1982. And we continue to grow and grow. We've got about 6,500 kids enrolled in the state that are involved in shooting sports. So this is a lot of them, this is a combination of their year in shotgun. It's kind of like any of our 4-H programs. We don't focus on the firearm, we focus on the kid. The firearm is just a tool we use to help develop those life skills of decision making and goal setting and conflict resolution and all these things that we know our youth need.
One of the things I believe you're going to learn the most is responsibility. You have to know how to take care of the gun. You have to be responsible with how you use it.
It's a great thing to get into. A lot of people, a lot of colleges look at what you've done, and this is a very big thing.
We get them involved in something for 9 years, and they come out and they go, oh yeah, I know how to keep records because I've had to do it. I know how to deal with teammates because I've had to do it. We're not, you know, those are things we sneak in. But the kids enjoy it, and they're having something fun. And then, you know, that's the other cool thing about it. It's just not, they're just not driving by and dropping the kids off. Parents are here, families are here, and it's just a great time for them to spend with their kids. And we know that's important for our kids, is to have time with their parents and adults who care about them. Great indicators of success in life.
Firearms are serious, and everyone involved has extensive training.
Our certified shooting sports volunteers go through, our shotgun instructors, a minimum of 20 hours of training before we even let them go work with the kids. So safety is first and foremost at any of our events, but it's really about the kid.
You have a high house and a low house with 8 stations in a semicircle.
And they'll start at station 1 and they will work their way around shooting various either singles or doubles, and then I'm sure we'll go to tiebreakers later on as we normally do because our kids are getting pretty good at this.
Actually, they're so good that Oklahoma 4-H sends a team to national competition every year.
It was pretty neat. Got to shoot with kids from about 30 different states, so it was a pretty neat experience.
I've qualified 3 times. I've attended once. I placed 7th in the skeet competition with a 96 out of 100.
We've been competing with the big boys. We've been 6th, 7th in the nation several years in a row out of 35 teams.
Just a lot of practice, a lot of hours spent, just kind of trial and error, trying different things. Never quitting.
Hi, welcome to Shop Stop. Today we want to talk a little bit about project management.
Let's assume you have a large project that may be a little bit overwhelming for you, and you need to break that down into certain areas that are manageable.
Yeah, so it might be, your project might be small compared to what somebody else might look at, but it might be the biggest thing you've ever tried to do. And so just say, I'm going to finish this part of it first, then I'll move on to the next one and just do it in segments. Then it doesn't seem quite so overwhelming.
So for example, if you're building a building or something, obviously you can't start with the roof first, so you've got to start with how you're going to lay out your foundation and where do we go from there, column wise, and then work up the building. And you can do that in stages where you don't have to concentrate on the whole project at one time.
Yeah, so if you're going to start working on that aluminum gooseneck stock trailer, you might want to break it up into segments. We'll see you next week on Shop Stop.
Another big event this summer on the OSU campus for young people is the Big 3 Field Days. SUNUP intern Mindy Andrus has this story.
The Big 3 at Oklahoma State University dates back to the 1960s, where it first helped influence animal agriculture.
This field day was originally a swine day, and it set the industry tone for swine preferences, swine selection, swine nutrition, and leaders from all over the country came and evaluated swine and saw the tone for the industry.
Now, the event hosts 1,300 to 1,400 youth each day for 3 days. The Big 3 teaches life skills that last beyond high school.
Our livestock judging team members at a collegiate level are some of the first people hired. And it's not because they have the ability to really decide which bull is better. It's that they have a work ethic, they understand teamwork, they understand communication, and they understand decision-making skills.
These skills are honed when competitors stand before the judges and explain each of their rankings.
Communication skills that come from giving oral reasons, to look at a class, to make a decision, and then to defend that decision before an official in a very limited amount of time is an ability and a skill that very few people have.
I think the biggest thing about reasons is that they really help me being able to express how I feel about a situation and making it to where I can say what I want and how I did it in an effective way. I think that's the best thing I've gotten from reasons.
Participants like Abby take part in the Best of the Best Reasons Challenge. This contest allows one individual from each team to present a set of reasons to a panel of judges, one of which was OSU's Mark Johnson.
There's 2 parts to every contest. You have to be a good placer, you have to be good at reasons. It's tough to be good at one or the other and have overall success in a contest. Reasons is an important part of success in judging contests, but if you can't see the animals accurately and have good placings with logic behind them to talk, it's really tough to give a good set of reasons.
Especially when the heat is on.
I compliment them on being here, judging in the summer heat, and making the most of this opportunity because there's a lot of good things that can come out of their judging experience for them.
And the ability to make a decision, defend it, and explain it, who doesn't need that ability?
One of the important features of food safety is proper hand sanitation, hand washing. And that comes into play in home, in restaurants, and so forth, in a lot of places. It's perhaps the most basic, but it's one of the most important aspects of food safety. One of the things in hand washing is obviously the use of soap. Some people might try to get away with just simple water rinse. That doesn't work. That might simply wash off a few bacterial cells, still leaves a lot there. Soap helps to degrade some of the organic film that helps bind bacteria to your hands. Some of it might have a little lethality effect as well. And you need to have a length of time. Proper hand washing is usually 20 seconds or longer. And so usually we often tell people that, if you sing a little jingle while you wash your hands, and even when you go to the restroom, wash your hands prior to handling food, so forth, a little jingle, happy birthday to me, whatever, to get you through that 20-second time period, which is often a kind of a necessary limit to ensure proper hand washing with soap. And for educational purposes, that's hard to demonstrate microbiologically. But one of the things that's on the market is Glow Germ. And we have here, it's a kit, a simple kit that we can use for educational workshops and to indicate the importance of hand sanitation, hand washing. It basically involves the use of either powder or liquid fluorescent dyes that we can rub on our hands to simulate the unobservable bacteria that may be present that you don't normally notice bacterial contamination on hands and surfaces. And when you wash or improperly wash, you still may have remnants of that bacteria on your hands. And this allows you to, with the use of a ultraviolet or black light, to demonstrate a residual glow if you don't wash your hands properly. This is one of the neat things to use in workshops and educational programs to indicate proper hand washing and sanitation.
That does it for us this week. From the State 4-H Roundup, I'm Lyndall Stout, and we'll see you next time at SUNUP.